Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Making of Podcast. I'm your co host, Ashley Joves, and I have a special guest today. I think you guys already know her and love her. She is the co host of Little Black Dress Pod, but she's also my right hand woman, Girl Collin extraordinaire. I'd like to welcome Collin.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
So, Collin, what is your role exactly at Co?
Can you tell me? I really don't know. A little bit of everything. I think we decided data, doer all things Ashley was
I forgot
actually,
about that
yeah,
acronym.
Colin, Colin, comma, data.
Collin, comma, data.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, Collin, she handles all the clinical stuff. She's a clinical lead at Smile& Co. And now with 2 locations, she is overseeing just the back office components in both locations. And she also is the making of director of operations. She is running our retreat and scheduling all the emails, all the meetings, all the phone calls. And we also are trying to get the Little Black Dress
Yes.
Pod back
We're on
up.
our way.
We're on
We're
our
on our
way.
way.
So we have lots of things on the menu today, but we are going to dive deep into what is actually happening at Smile& Co. because this is on the Making of podcast. And since it's been a few months, months.
It's been several months.
It's been several months. We wanted to update you. So it is 2024. Can you believe it, Collin?
February 7th,
I don't even know.
something like
It's
that.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
I just go by the day of the week.
Yeah.
It is it's February 2024 and we took some notes because this is going to be a quick and dirty recap of Smile& Co. And let's start off with the Delta.
I did we talk about this before? I feel like we have mentioned it maybe, or maybe I'm just thinking of when we went out of network with Delta, but we're back in network now
Let's
in Folsom,
in Folsom.
the
So
first location.
let's if you haven't listened to any of the episodes prior, um when we were opening up Roseville, which is another startup. It's the second location. Folsom was already 5 years old, right? 5 years old.
Yeah.
And we were bursting at the seams in 1900 square feet. We had at one point, was it 12 team members?
Yeah.
6 operatories, and we
Multiple
were
docs.
multiple docs. On any given day, we had 3 hygienists was our highest and 2 docs with 2 EF2s. And if you're not familiar with EF2s, they are able to place restoration, cement crowns, so they had their own chairs. So it was a nut house, would you say?
Do you remember what we called it?
The Wild Wild
The
West.
Wild West.
It was,
yes.
it was
That's how
the
it felt.
It was the Wild Wild West. I mean, granted, we grew so fast.
Yeah.
And our patients were our raving fans, but we were also accepting a lot of insurances, one of which is Delta Dental. And we practice in California. So if you are a practice owner in California, you already know that Delta is it's a behemoth.
Yes.
And in order
every employer offers Delta.
And we're just outside Sacramento, and all the state employees take Delta. So in 2021, we made the decision to get out of network with Delta and become an unrestricted provider. And it was our way of really taking back control over the schedule and seeing what it would look like.
Yeah.
80%. So this was a really bold move because at least 80% of our patient base is Delta. Yeah,
absolutely.
And in California, you have to pay out of pocket for the entire fee, not just the copay. And so our crown fee, for instance, our crown with build up is around $1,900.
Yeah.
And now we were having patients pay $1,900 up front and waiting to see what their Delta would
Yeah, because the
reimburse.
reimbursement went straight to the patient.
Yeah.
So Delta won't send the office the reimbursement.
Right.
Yeah.
Right now. So in order to prepare for this change, I mean, it was a drastic change. We started having all the conversations happen at the hygiene appointments.
Yes.
So we would have a team meeting in the morning. Oh, we had lots of meetings.
Yeah, we did.
We also had a consultant to help guide us through the proper verbiage, and like we did a ton of role playing.
Yep.
And we had these conversations in the hygiene chair, one patient at a time, face to face.
I want to say 9-ish months,
Yeah.
if not more.
Yeah.
We were having these conversations. Like
Yeah.
patients knew about it. It wasn't like a sudden thing.
No. And we also didn't want to have like an email blast or like a blanket announcement, because we wanted to make these patients know where we were coming from, why we were making this change, and then what the change would look like on their part. And we wanted to also ensure them that we were going to still file on their behalf, that we still accept their insurance. It would just be Delta reimbursing them directly.
Yeah.
So we started all of this 2021, but it was also the same time that I decided to open a second location.
It actually was
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this come to Jesus moment on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
The meeting with me, you, Brian, and Judy, and just trying to figure out what the next move was. And you decided both were the next move.
I was like, no, we're going to do this.
We're going to do it all.
We're going to do it all at the same freaking time. And we did. And so the first round of hygiene appointments, I would say a majority of patients still kept their appointments.
They did. Absolutely. They paid the out of pocket. They came in. They were so happy to be there. I mean, our patients honestly love us.
Yeah.
But I think once they started to realize what the Delta reimbursement really looked like when they got their checks, it was a little bit harder.
It was a lot harder.
Well, and right now is a rough time in the economy anyways. So
yes. So after the first wave of hygiene appointments, we started to see the drop off. And in terms of our production, I would say the first year, there wasn't a big change actually, because I still was doing my cosmetics.
Yeah.
And all of my cosmetic procedures were always out of pocket anyways. So you saw our schedule getting lighter, but the numbers didn't change.
They really didn't. They were super close to the previous year, but everyone could breathe a little bit because it wasn't the wild, wild west anymore.
No, but as the business owner, you get anxiety when you see a big team and there's a hole, and you know how much California rates are for a solid team. So it's not like our overhead is low by any means. I mean, we've never hit that 25%.
Is that possible in California?
I don't know.
I'm sure it is somewhere.
I'm sure it is. And we wrote it out. So that was 2021. And then we gave it a solid year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what we were noticing was, even when patients were keeping their hygiene appointments, converting those patients to actual treatment, which, I mean, hygienists can only make so much in a given day. That's the nature of the game. Where you're really getting production is the doctor side. And if our doctors are not able to convert whatever they're diagnosing to actual treatment, then it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So we had a drop off in our doctor's schedule, but also we opened Roseville. And and I took myself out of Folsom. So all of the treatment. So I essentially took myself out of Folsom in June-ish, July.
I would even go
May?
back as far as May-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, you were still there,
I'm still there.
but not doing as much.
No, because Roseville opened at the end of July.
Correct.
I mean, Collin and we were there checking on construction. We were ordering. We had all the boxes. We had all of the like the
Everything.
final inspections. There was a lot happening. So I essentially, you're absolutely right. I would say April was the last time I had like solid
like a full
production. And when I took myself out of Folsom, I mean, you could drastically feel the difference in our numbers. But not just that, I think the overall vibe started to shift.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about just turnover that we've had since opening the new office. And I don't know if we went into depth about it.
We kind of described it as a divorce.
Yeah. You're right.
And how half of the family or team is over here and the other half is over there. And you kind of, I think in a divorce situation, the kid feels a little left out in one sense or another of one of the parents.
Right. So that was definitely a hard transition. So we had team turnover, a culture shift, and it was at that point too, we noticed just how broken the systems were that we had in place. And when you take, I would say the leadership, like the core people from one location and transplant them to the new location to set that one up for success. In my head, I was thinking like, well, Folsom is a well-oiled machine. Like we have almost 6 years under our belt and established practice. It can withstand the changes, and couldn't. And now we are redefining those systems.
Correct.
We have a new team on board, and let's just talk about what exactly we're trying to do differently with these new team members by implementing team meetings.
Monthly team meetings. We tried a few different things to get everyone kind of together and on the same page. We were trying to do morning huddles over Zoom to connect.
Oh my gosh, right.
It was really hard though, especially with the new team, to really have everyone on the same page. And I mean, like you said, we didn't really know what these new systems were going to look like with having 2 locations and really just trying to figure everything out. So the monthly team meetings are huge now for us, where both offices have no patients in the afternoon on the first Thursday of the month. And the entire team is there together, where we're calibrating together, making sure everyone's on the same page. I thought the one we did, it was just last week, actually, was our team meeting. I thought that one was really fun, actually. It was just like a back office one, but we printed out one specific new patient, bite wings, the iTero scan, and then we got into different little groups, and everyone kind of collaborated on what they saw and what they would treatment plan. So it was just a good way to kind of make sure everyone was on the same page as far as treatment planning goes, because I think that can be a huge difference. If you're saying something and someone else is saying something totally different, I mean, that's just not consistent, and you want consistency amongst all of the providers. So I thought that was a really fun little exercise.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. And it's crazy to think that this was the first time we had ever done that with how many hygienists we have, how many doctors we have, like just having that discussion. That was really cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really fun too. I thought to see some of our assistants are a little younger, but just to see actually how great they know things just from watching like what you've done or other doctors have done. I thought it was kind of, what's the word? Not like uplifting, but motivating.
Yeah. It was a good time. But
I thought so.
just to dovetail off of, because I know we started with Delta.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, we decided to go back in
Oh, yeah.
network. We decided
Back to
to
that.
go back in network because our numbers were dropping. And I mean, at the end of the day, a Delta crown is still production. And
It's something on the schedule.
it's something on the schedule.
If you're paying all that overhead,
Yeah.
$10 is better than $0.
Yes. And remember when we had that come to Jesus moment with me?
Which one?
I know we've kind of had a lot of come to
There's been
Jesus
a few.
moments. There's been a few, but if I could, I don't want to say I have regrets, but I definitely, the timing of everything was a bit overly ambitious. And I can absolutely see smaller offices with one doctor, a small and mighty team that can work efficiently, doing high conversion and bigger treatment plans. I can absolutely see those offices getting out of network and being completely fine and loving their lives.
Yeah.
And now that we have two overheads and it's to not have that revenue, that steady patient flow, because when you are out of network with Delta in California, you're looking at a very microscopic niche of patients.
Yes.
And I mean, it's even the people who have the money.
Yeah. Oh, we've talked about this.
We've talked about this. Who have the money, there's just not, I don't want to say that they don't really see the value of paying out of pocket for a hygiene visit, but they really don't see the value. They think that a cleaning is a cleaning, even if we are the highest rated, most reviewed office. We spend our time educating. It's a hard sell.
I mean, if they can go somewhere else and get it for free because it's covered under their insurance.
Right.
I would say a lot of people are going to do it that way.
Yes.
Most of the patients we kept, I mean, don't get me wrong, there were a handful of Delta patients that still stayed, but the majority were other insurances. Right. Which unfortunately just isn't the majority of what is offered by employers in our area.
Right. And I did not do my due diligence in like getting the marketing up and running. And I mean, I was so in my head about the numbers and we had turnover. Let's scramble to fill these spots. We had 2 assistants go out on maternity leave the same exact time. We also threw a retreat at the same time that the maternity leave was happening. So
and the turnover was happening.
And the turnover.
So bless the souls of some of these girls we hired, because literally we threw them in and said, please take over the schedule. Like I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's been a rough start. To like just the start of Roseville, I think. Just, you think you're getting your bearings and then something else happens. And this episode is to make sure you know that like everything that you're seeing on social media, like all the laughing and all of that, there's always a story behind everything. And that was actually what I talked about at our retreat. Like you see this, like, I mean, we have a gorgeous facility and underneath it all, like I was really struggling with like, how are the systems? How is the schedule? Like, are people getting put on the books? Like, how is our AR? Like, there were so many things that I was worrying about because I was no longer in Folsom and I was now trying to get Roseville up and off the ground. And it's just when you feel like the weight of 2 practices and the retreat are on your shoulders, it's a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
All
at the same
at
time.
the exact same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are officially back in network in our first location starting this week.
Correct.
This is our first week. And now we're going to navigate what having a PPO practice that is associate driven is going to look like at the same time as raising this cosmetic, mostly fee for service practice in Roseville.
Correct.
And we were just talking before we hit record about how is that going to look like with patients? Because right now, patients are getting either treatment planned in one location, and if they go to the Roseville location, we're out of network. So now we're not going to have that back and forth.
Right. Because before we were back in network, if patients from the first location really wanted to get something done much quicker, we would usually just offer them the Roseville, the second location, because there were more openings there. And it just happened yesterday, actually. We offered a patient who had come back because we're back in network with Delta. She needed treatments. We offered her the second location and then realized like, oh, she's going to have to pay full fee out of pocket if she gets seen there. And so yeah, there's just some little quirks, some quips that we'll figure out, but it's always a learning curve, guys. That's what was our word last year? Pivot and surrender.
Surrender. Yes.
Like something's going to come up that you can't, I don't know, you can't predict.
You really can't. And so we also condensed our schedule. So in the Roseville location, we were open Monday through Thursday, but closing that off now allows the 3 days that we are there to be a solid 3 days. But it also enables Judy and our other front office to be able to go to Folsom and help run the systems again. So it feels like a cohesive team again.
Yeah.
I think there are so many offices that I want to pick their brain about how they set up multi-location practices.
So hard.
But I think there's something to be said about having completely different teams from the get-go. Would you agree? Like they don't know how it used to be.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and even now, really, there's just a couple of us that have been around since the beginning or whatever. And so even though the girls are now switching back and forth between the locations, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Is that they're new, so they don't really know any different.
Right.
Correct. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah, it was just like you said, everything happened at once too. So we were all learning. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I love the new location. It's my dream practice. Like honestly, it's amazing to be able to walk in the space and feel like, oh my gosh, this is how dentistry, like this is how I envision practicing. And I feel like getting back in network with Delta allows at least a little bit more of that comfort zone back, because now I'm not just relying on the case acceptance. Like what is going to get these patients to fork out $2,000 for a crown,
Yeah.
So
I think, I know there's differing views on this, but I think it was the right move, honestly. I think, like you said, it's an associate driven practice. Right now there's basically one doc, one hygienist in there. And I think you'll fill that schedule just fine. I don't think we'll fill it to the brim like we did before, but Delta brings in a lot of new patients too. Like it just brings in those patients. So I think it was the right move.
And I will also say that when we were in network, we were a very profitable company. And like we grew a multi-million-dollar establishment in, I think we hit over $1 million like after the first year. And we never had to really market, just social media and of course in network participation. But I mean, I also got all of my cosmetic cases from Delta patients. It's not like I ever really marketed, smile makeovers. Like if you look at my cases from years ago, they all started one conversation at a time, one hygiene visit at a time, just getting to what the patient wanted. And they were in network. And they gladly paid out of network when it's something that they actually want.
Correct. Which I think is kind of going back to what we were saying earlier is like if you can get a free checkup somewhere, it's more of that lower barrier to entry in the beginning. And then people that have the means to do things, like you said, will pay top dollar for the things they want. But no one wants like an exam and cleaning.
Nobody wants an exam and cleaning. Nobody wants a crown.
No.
Like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants a root canal. They want the aesthetics. And I don't blame them. So besides closing the Thursdays, we also are now going to be offering one night a week that we're gonna.
I forgot about that. Actually.
Yeah. So right now
that doesn't count for me and you, does it?
No, never. Don't listen to this if you're a team member of Monica. No. So we shut down Fridays a while ago, and that already. I mean, Fridays are a good day to be open as a dental office, and we freaking there's I have lots of.
So we're only open 4 days.
Yeah, we're open 4 days
instead of 5.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna have a late day.
Yeah.
Because we shortened an hour on our days too, actually. Not just taking a day away, but we shortened our clinical hours. And our last appointment is at 3. Yeah. Like I'm like, wait a second. No, we don't take a 4 p.m. appointment anymore. So we end around 4, give the girls time to clean up and whatnot and get set up for the next day so that no one was there all day long. So to accommodate for that shortening of the hours, you're going to open a night.
So half the team So we're going to start 10 a.m.
Correct.
And then end at 6 p.m.
Yep. 1 day a week.
1 day a week. Yeah. So lots of changes happening, and I would say that's basically it's a good start to what's happening.
That was a good start
to Smile & Co. And do you want to talk about the retreat a little bit? This upcoming one? Where's it going to be, Collin?
So Retreat 2024 is going to be 4 seasons, which if that's not exciting enough, GTFO, just kidding. In Vail, Colorado.
Yep.
So bougie AF location in a bougie AF hotel.
I mean, it
like resort, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the first year was in Napa.
Correct.
Second year was in Sonoma. And I feel like, we're just getting better and better.
Better and better.
And I feel like
totally different vibe this year, I think, too.
Vibe. We're going mountain retreat.
This is the first out of state.
Yep. Pretty soon it's going to be out of country. Don't have a heart attack.
Don't do that to me. Let's figure out this out of state one first. It's only like a couple states away, so it'll be fine. And we're also not doing it though in November. We're going to do it in September.
That's right.
The 19th to the 21st. So September 19th is a Thursday, right? Yeah. So it's going to be a Thursday to Saturday meeting retreat as well. So I think that makes it super exciting. People will come in on Thursday.
Yeah.
We'll have our reception like
Yep.
we always do.
Mhm.
And then speakers in the morning on Friday, adventures in the afternoon on Friday, and then same thing the next day.
Yep.
And then we'll have our finale dinner on a Saturday evening.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
And then we are going to have like a mastermind meetup
Mm-hmm.
for our VIP docs. Probably what it'll start the Thursday morning
I think so.
before.
Yeah.
So then you guys will be flying out on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And then we can have like a little cocktail reception.
Of course.
Always. So if you're interested in joining our mastermind, make sure to hit us up.
Well, hold on. How about if you want to come to the retreat?
Oh, yes.
Hit us up. And then the mastermind is in the process right now of being finalized and whatnot. I know we've had a few questions about that, but as you heard, there were some changes in the offices we were trying to navigate as well. So the mastermind's coming. Don't worry. As soon as we have it finalized, settled, and ready to go, we will announce that. And then, we'll have the meeting in Vail, and we'll have our monthly mastermind meetings and whatnot. So
I'm excited.
I know, me too.
I miss
everyone.
everyone.
Yeah.
Do. Yes. And if you don't know what a mastermind is, guys, I mean, it is probably the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And
it's like a group of besties.
it's a freaking group of besties. And you guys know, if you're a part of the Facebook community, so many people, there's just a lot of people there. There's also a lot of noise, and you are not able to really go deep with conversations and community in those groups. And what I really love is taking a very small group, a small cohort, to really talk about the numbers. Like, let's lay it all out there. Like, this is what I'm doing in my practice. It's a
lot of the stuff that no one really wants to talk about super publicly.
Yes, absolutely. And it's going to be amazing, and our retreat's going to be amazing, and Smile and Co is going to be amazing.
It's all great.
It's
going to be good.
Yes. And if you want to connect, if you need more information about any and all of the above, you can find us on, it's giving us a thumbs up. I don't know. Our screen froze. Hopefully it's still recording.
Okay,
we'll make sure to upload the video component of this so you can see exactly what Colin is talking about. But I mean, find us on Instagram at themaking.of.
Correct.
At Ashley Joves DDS.
Girl Collin.
And
Two L's.
Yeah.
The Facebook group.
Yeah. No, we have a lot of great things in store, and we will catch you guys up next week with more updates.
Of course. This is gonna be a little more consistent now.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right, guys. Thank you again, and we hopefully will see you in Vail.
Can't wait.
Bye.